Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to talk about fight or flight mode. We're going to talk about lack mindset, poor mindset, victim mindset, all those things. Google says fight or flight response is a natural, involuntary, physiological reaction to perceived threats, preparing the body to either confront the danger, fight, or escape, flight. So most of us operate in this fight or flight response where we constantly feel like we're in a threatening environment, and that comes from trauma. We have to pay attention to these things, otherwise they will start controlling and dictating our lives. I'm sure everyone has seen Joe Rogan's podcasts. He was talking about hunting and gathering, about like how humans have evolved from the hunter and gatherer, which is a natural instinct, which is what we're talking about. Another name for this would be like survival instinct. If you look at nature and animals, they aren't as conscious as we are. They aren't aware that they're conscious. So that means that we have the choice to choose our environment because we aren't a victim of our environment. We choose to be there. So a lot of this has to do with mindset, and we're going to talk about some examples of mindset and how it ties into this. Google says victim mentality involves seeing oneself as a victim in various situations, even when evidence suggests otherwise. So some examples: constantly blaming others for problems, feeling helpless and powerless, difficulty taking responsibility for actions, avoiding challenges and opportunities, focusing on negative experiences and outcomes. Other examples of these bad mindsets are what I mentioned before. So like poor mindset would be that when it comes to your finances and you don't think that you are worthy or that it would ever be possible for you to have a lump sum of money, right? So that also ties into lack mindset, that you're always looking at what you don't have instead of what you have, right? So gratitude goes a long way. Being grateful for what you have and then therefore appreciating it more, therefore deserving more, or realizing the actual worth of something, therefore realizing how much you are actually worth. And that's the next thing I want to talk about, is manifestation. And that's exactly it. It's mindset. It's the world is a projection of your inner thoughts. It's like a real-time example of like what you think, feel, and believe. So if you believe something deep down, then you can't be convinced otherwise, and then your reality will reflect that. So if you're always negative and you're always looking at your life in a bad way, then how do you think your reality is going to look? Really pay attention to your thoughts. Even if you're not saying it out loud, it's still very powerful. It's not going unnoticed, no matter what you do. You have the power to change your reality. And like I mentioned in the first video, if you're not changing, you're choosing. And that's what I mean. Just know that you have the power to do it. And that means you have to take responsibility and say, hey, like I've put myself in this position, but I can get out of it now. The only constant thing in your life is change, believe it or not. And people love to stay comfortable, and they're scared of change because they're stuck in these old mindsets. And a lot of these mindsets come from trauma, or come from like traumatic households where they're raised, or never feeling safe. And then that's why you're stuck in this constant war, right? And that's why being mindful of your thoughts, they're signals. They're telling you if there's this little thought that creeps in the back of your mind, just pay mind to it. Notice it, acknowledge it, and see what it's about. Depending what you haven't moved on from in your past, that's what it's telling you. There was something that you avoided, but you're meant to learn something from it, so it's still kind of lingering. You should pay mind to it and see what lesson that is, and then let it go. If you aren't going with the flow of things, or you aren't going or trusting enough to go with the flow and trying to go against the current, then that means you're controlling and you're resisting what you're desiring. And that's why a lot of these spiritual teachers talk about get out of your own way, or like self-sabotaging. That's literally all it is. It's literally you not thinking that you're that you're worthy of this, right? And it's only because of external things that have told you otherwise, or beliefs that have been ingrained, or places that you've been in that you haven't felt safe or secure to actually be able to know who you are fully. So your mind is a powerful thing, guys. That's all it is. Mindset, manifestation, boom. There's a lot of fear going around, guys. Like, go back to my first video if you haven't watched it. There's a lot of fear being pushed around. Look at COVID. I got my own opinion, but look at COVID. That was all fear-based. Doesn't matter what you believe in, that's all fear-based. Looking back, it's fear-based. So use that going into the future of whatever you hear, whatever the trending news is. Use your discernment, because it might not be fully true. It might just be some way to make you react and go into that response. But maybe you should go the other way and just trust God. Trust that it's gonna work out, okay? We're all divine manifestors. God gave us the tools to manifest whatever we want, whatever our desires are, whatever we want into our realities. But we're conditioned to operate out of fear. Why? Because we're easier to control. If we all live in fear, if we all lived out of love, how would you be able to? Love is the strongest and most powerful energy. It's the highest form. So that means nothing can break that. That's very powerful. So they don't want us to love each other. Think about that. So the next time that you're rude to someone for no reason, or because your traumas or your fight or flight, whatever, all these mindsets come up and then you got to take it out on someone, you react to someone. Think about that, because you're impacting this world, the frequency of this world. You're keeping it at that low vibration. Love is of the highest vibration. You have to raise it. So you have to react with love, not fear, guys, okay? And this has been happening for generations. And you hear the expression, history repeats itself. This is why, because it's like the same lesson in different ways, because the last generation couldn't do it because of their trauma. They couldn't figure it out. But these are the blueprints. It's all just up to you. And realizing that what your parents have told you might not necessarily be true, or they couldn't know. We've fallen into the trap of believing that we're a victim to our environment. And that's why when you turn on the news every morning and you're seeing all the wars and all the bad things that happen around the world, that's all to make you fearful. But if you went outside, or if you turned off all your gadgets and you just went outside into nature in the morning to the birds chirping and the sun rising, you would have no stress. You would know that the universe has your back, and you would move into the world like that, right? Try that next time. So it's time to take your power back and realize that you have the control. You're in the driver's seat in this case, in this scenario. So if you want something, the thing that you dreamed when you were a kid, whatever that was, bring it back, because it is possible. You just have to manifest it. You have to believe that it is possible. Never think if or how, because that's not trusting the universe or God that it's gonna, right? If you trust how powerful the universe is, it will show you exactly how powerful it is, because it'll give you what you want, or it'll give you signs to communicate with you to let you know that you're on the right path to getting that thing that you want. There's something there, right? But it's just how tapped into it are you, right? And this is what I'm talking about. It's all mindset. So if you can tune your frequency to that of love, to the highest, and that's the closer you are to source, or to spirit, or to God, right? Because God is the highest form. But we all have that inside, because if we're all connected, then that means we all are God, because we're all connected to source. So in a sense, yeah, we hold the power of God. So it's the manifesting that is the power. We all have different skills, you can call them, and abilities is a better word. But it's only unique to you, right? That's why no one else can do it for you. So you have to kind of go through the hard stuff to really find it for yourself. But once you can figure that part out, then it gets easier. And then, the ebbs and flows. There's a time to be a teacher, and there's a time to be a student. Start being more grateful. Just start being more positive. I'm telling you, it goes a long way. Even I know it's tough. Like, if you've been in that mindset for years, this is the real work that needs to be done. This is the self-healing. This is the stuff that we're not taught. We're taught that we have to work physically. And if we're not working, then we're lazy, or we're not good enough. It's all just to distract you, and it's all just to keep you busy, so you'll never be able to figure out who you are. But I'm telling you, what if this was the real work and it was literally just loving yourself and doing that real work and just being the person that you want to be and actually embodying that? How do I want to communicate with people? What do I want to do? What does that look like? And then start thinking about this. How are you contributing to society? How are you contributing to humanity right now on a positive level? Even your inner thoughts, that reflects. We're all connected. So if your frequency is low and negative, you are a part of that low frequency. We are a collective. Repeat after me, say these things. You're stating it as if you've already sent it out to the universe and you trust that it will be received and then everything is done and it's all happening and you don't have to worry about it anymore. You don't have to worry about how it's gonna happen, like I mentioned before, because that's out of your control. What's in your control is to trust that process. So repeat after me. I am no longer in lack mindset. I'm grateful for everything that has happened so far. I am grateful now that my manifestations are coming true. Money comes to me so easy. I get paid to exist. I don't work hard for money. Money works hard for me. All right, guys, I hope this helped. Stay tuned for more. I'm gonna keep posting more, okay? I love you guys. Have a good day.